Elysian.
Get some!
Yeah!
I'd like to start off saying good evening to the man who'll be back tomorrow, Michael K.
People are lit.
What was that, Michael?
Michael, Michael, I remember I used to get lit back in the day.
And that was Bill Clinton.
Playing with my fellow Yankees, Michael.
You turned Paul into Bill.
That's right.
Good evening to Spike Lee and Don.
I don't hate the Mets.
Well, good for you.
Good evening.
I loved it.
To Peter.
Can I get 24 hours, Tim?
Wait a minute.
I think Don said I hate him.
What is that? Can I hear it one more time? Can I get 24 hours, Tim?
Wait a minute.
No, he said wait a minute.
Wait a minute. It was just in my head.
Oh, my
Len?
God.
This is why I love you. You're right, and you're still wrong.
That was a great call, by the way. He was, I got to tell you, say whatever you want about this show. We had some really good new callers today.
Yeah, someone said that.
We've had some really
Steve Brzezinski
good...
said that.
He did say that. That was
By the way,
Steve.
the picture Steve Brzezinski posted where he met Bully Ray, did you see the look he had going there?
Yeah.
Oh, Bully or Steve?
Steve.
No, Steve. That was a hell of a look from Steve.
I was gonna say,
It's a
Bully
good
is
look
exactly-
for him.
Yeah, no, I want to see that look from Steve at all times. But I got to tell you,
You know, you might see that look.
the Beach Bash?
Oh, yeah.
What's going on with that?
I don't know. You tell me.
You want me to tell you about
Yeah,
it?
be a good
All right,
idea.
well, it's June 28th at Bar A in Lake
We're
Como.
getting there, Don.
Come on down. It's going to be Barton Hahn. It's going to be the K Show. So many giveaways for fans in attendance. Plus, the Mark Ribbler Band, which Pusick, if he ever left the studio and wasn't a hermit freak, he would come enjoy. It's all brought to you by Open Road Auto Group. Flight by Yingling, New Jersey Lottery, Calandra's Bakery, and General Plumbing Supply. You got to be 21 to get in. But yeah, you say what you want about the Peter Don vehicle. I'll tell you what, the callers on these shows are different and original and awesome.
Yeah, Don, I assume you agree. I'd give a lot of credit. I give a lot of credit to you guys, of course, and to the New York Rangers. As we know, me and Don love hockey, not the biggest sport that we cover here, but when it's a big story, Ranger fans come out, and we appreciate it, because that means that we have Ranger fans listening to the show, and that makes me and Don happy.
That's right.
So thank you, and thank you for a great run. Being able to talk some Ranger hockey.
I have a tremendous amount of opinions. I'm going to keep it to myself.
And Baggy Day tomorrow, so there's a chance we hear from Chris Drury, from Peter Laviolette,
and there's a
some
chance
of the players. And there's a chance we won't, like Don said. So we will have to wait and see. But we did have some thoughts from the Rangers, who lost on Saturday to the Florida Panthers. Peter Laviolette just talking about how tough it was to find the back of the net in this series.
It was difficult to score, generating the quality that we wanted to generate. We knew that coming in. We knew it from the way they finished the season. We knew it from their first round, their second round. And coming in, that they weren't giving up a lot. Ultimately, I think that's something that we were able to do pretty consistently throughout the course of the year. You look at the scores, you look at the games, low scoring, 1-goal games. Ultimately, I think just trying to find that next goal inside of a game could be the difference.
It's hard to win, and it's hard to win when the team that's better is in your way. Now you got to be that next team. Remember, it was Tampa. And then Tampa's now faded, and now it looks like it's going to be Florida. Then eventually Florida's going to fade, because in a cap sport, you can't stay together for too long. They've got free agents they have to address. And so when they take that step backward, are the Rangers going to be the team that's going to take the step forward, or is it going to be Carolina? Is it going to be New Jersey? Is it going to be Boston? Like, who is going to do it? You've got to be that next team. You've got to be sitting there ready to pounce. Because right now you're not good enough to beat the Florida Panthers, but I think you're good enough to beat everybody else. That's the frustrating thing. And also that shows you why you want to finish as high as you can. Because if you played with your food, as Peter likes to say, in the regular season, maybe you would have faced Florida earlier. Well, not with the format that they have, but you know what I'm saying is that you get Carolina in the conference final and you couldn't get by them. Carolina's in the same situation, right? Carolina stuck in the same division as the Rangers. They can't be the Rangers, so they can't get out of the second round. That's one of those things. But thankfully, the format tells you can't play Florida until the conference final. But unfortunately, if they're there, unless the Rangers improve, they're not going to find a way to be able to get by them.
And they now have an opponent, the Florida Panthers. They start the Stanley Cup down in Florida against Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers. Kind of a surprise, in my opinion. I thought the Stars would win that series. But Stuart Skinner, give him credit. He was amazing in games 5 and 6. The Oilers won 2-1. And, Peter, if you didn't see the McDavid goal.
Oh, I saw it.
Oh, my goodness.
Are you kidding me?
It was unbelievable. I mean, that's something that only a handful of people in the league can do, and he's one of them.
Was that his... I know he's had an unbelievable career so far, but was that his marquee moment so far?
Oh, that's got to be a legacy game for him for sure.
That's a big deal. I mean, because
at home, you don't have to go back down to Dallas in a game 7, and you set the tone like that. And then really the defense kind of just held serve. I mean, they only had, this is the crazy thing, Peter, 10 shots.
It's
lowest amount of shots in a conference final clincher in history and win.
Holy crap.
That is 10 shots.
10 shots. And they
I was
scored
complaining
on the
about the Rangers shot output.
2 of the first 3 they scored on. Wow. That was it. That's all they needed. The power play goal was good too.
I think at the end of the first period, right, Anthony, they were getting outshot 14-3, and they had a 2-0 lead.
Yes, 14-3.
So it was, it's just incredible. It really is amazing. But you know what? I think it's just so good for the sport. I know you'll look at it and say that this matchup's not going to garner a ton of ratings. It's the Florida Panthers versus the Edmonton Oilers. But I don't know. You tell me, Peter, as a hockey casual. The Oilers hold some cachet just because of that's where Gretzky played.
That's the Oilers, for God's sake.
And it's Connor McDavid. And it's helped the NBA that it really didn't matter about market. It matters about stars. And you're going to have Connor McDavid playing for trying to win his first cup. And listen, I don't know how the ratings are going to be, but I'm intrigued as a hockey fan to see how this Oiler team is going to be able to find room to roam, because I would think the Oilers are going to have the same problem the Rangers had. Mm-hmm. The Panthers are going to suffocate them, but can Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl find room to still score the way they did last night against Dallas?
And all of your Stanley Cup action and all of your NBA Finals action can be seen on the mothership, ABC.
On TV.
On TV. And you'll be able to hear a lot of these games on ESPN
Rayro.
That's right. Thank you, Don. Guys, I think it's time for a Who's Hot, Who's Not. It's brought to you by General Plumbing Supply. Peter mentioned it earlier. Juan Soto, Player of the Week, and why not? He's hitting .435 with 3 homers and 9 RBIs in his last 6 games. And someone you mentioned earlier, something that kind of almost got overlooked because of all the drama that came from her earlier game of the weekend. Who's not hot? Caitlin Clark. She had the worst game of her WNBA career yesterday in a blowout loss to the Liberty, scoring 3 points on 1 of 10 shooting. She was 1 of 7 from behind the arc. So probably her worst game as a WNBA player.
Would you go as far as saying not what you want?
It's definitely not.
And listen, I don't know a lot about the WNBA.
Proud of you for admitting that. A lot of people struggling to say that these days.
The Fever are not good. She's not on a very good basketball team.
She's not. So that's why you get the number one
I'm
pick
a big believer. As good as you are, nothing will drag you down more than a bad team. And it seems like they've got a very bad team in Indiana, and that's why they had the first overall pick.
Yeah, they're 2-9, only better than the Mystics, who are 0-8. It also seems like they've played a large amount more games than everybody else. They played 11 games.
It feels like they're on every day.
They're on every other day.
Did I hear correctly? They've had because they've only played 11 games.
They played 11.
And they've had 3 back-to-backs and all their games are going to be on national television. And so their schedule and nothing's going to make a bad team worse than having to play a lot of back-to-backs and a lot of primetime games.
And I believe the schedule is truncated a little bit, so it does feel like they're playing a lot this year as opposed to years past because of the Olympics. So I think they did have to fit everything in.
We've seen that from hockey.
So that is just a dangerous combination for, as you said, Don, not a really good team at the moment. That's Who's Hot, Who's Not, brought to you by General Plumbing Supply. General Plumbing Supply's starting lineup of experts will help keep your clients cool and your business hot. For Grand Slam quality and service, trust the real experts at GPS. Big signing in the NFL today.
Oh, my God.
Justin Jefferson.
We should have brought this up earlier. That's my fault.
Yet. 4-year, $140 million deal. The extension includes $110 million guaranteed and makes Jefferson the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. JJ, sticking with JJ McCarthy, that is, in Minnesota. Another reason Steve Brzezinski should be happy.
And the reason why he made as much money as he did, because you're not having to pay a quarterback for a while. Or how much is Darnold making? And
$150 a game.
And JJ's still on his young deal. So, this is what you do when you don't have to pay a quarterback. But that's an outrageous amount of money. I think it's the most per year of any
a
non-quarterback in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just had one of the Bosa's, I believe. You know who's really happy about this? CeeDee Lamb and Tyreek Hill.
Seriously.
and Jamar Chase also was looking for a new contract. I mean, the bar has been set. I don't know if you get much higher than that, guys.
I wonder also if other teams will just say, hey, yeah, that's what they did because of their situation, but no, we're not doing that. It doesn't make sense. We have to pay. We have a quarterback.
That's right. Everybody's situation is different. Believe me, he would not be getting this deal if they were still paying a ton of money to Cousins. So they took advantage of the situation that they're in. But, CeeDee Lamb can't get that if you're paying Prescott. Now maybe they'll let Prescott go.
And remember, guys, a lot of these guys that got these deals, like Justin Jefferson just got it. A.J. Brown just got his deal, and Justin Jefferson just jumped right past him. Amon-Ra St. Brown got his contract extension this offseason, too. Jalen Waddle just had that big deal we talked about last week.
They're all kids, too. I mean, what is Jefferson, 24? He's
25. Ugh. Amon-Ra St. Brown is 25. Jalen Waddle's 26. A.J. Brown's 27.
Yeah, they're all. We don't have that problem with wide receivers like with running backs, where by the time you get to 28, you're an old man. You're a geezer.
It's pretty crazy. That is a lot of money. Peter, not so good news for your Washington Commanders. This story has been kind of circling over the last week or so. Brandon McManus was accused of a sexual assault. The Commanders decided to cut him. They released him days after the lawsuit was filed against him became public, alleging sexual assault from an incident that occurred when he was a member of the Jaguars. McManus was signed to a one-year, $3.6 million deal. They didn't re-sign Joey Sly, their previous kicker.
He fell off a cliff.
On Monday, ESPN reported the lawsuit. A Commander spokesperson said the team was aware of the situation and was in contact with the NFL as well as McManus' representation, and they said we take allegations of this nature very seriously. So, Peter, you're in the market for another kicker.
I mean, it's the right thing to do. It's a kicker with an accusation. I mean, I'm sorry. You can just find kickers. I mean, that doesn't mean it's... When you have a great kicker, it's an incredible piece to have. But at the same time, it's not like you can't get lucky and find one for cheap. If McManus was Justin Tucker, we'd probably be having a different conversation.
It was a one-year deal. This is not like they were expecting a long-term kicker here.
So don't you think you get a new guy for a one-year deal, and you're trying to build a new organization with a new culture? You're not risking that on your kicker. I'm sorry, you're not.
Well, it's anything, right? It's not a huge investment. You can replace him. Now, if the allegations are false, you feel bad that he lost his job, like that punter in Buffalo from a couple of years ago. His name escapes me.
Matt Ariza?
But yeah.
Or Ariza?
But I believe they probably did their due diligence and said it probably did happen, or at least it was ugly enough that they didn't want to be associated with him. Now, eventually he may be cleared, or maybe he doesn't go to trial or whatever, but that doesn't make you innocent. And believe me, the NFL, they've got plenty of former FBI guys working for them. They can find out everything that happened. So the fact that they let him go, yeah, it wasn't a lot of money, but there probably was a lot of fire to that smoke if they did that. I just hope, he's not being accused falsely, but you got to do what you got to do.
Sad news for the Dallas Cowboys. Hall of Fame offensive lineman Larry Allen died at the age of 52. He died suddenly Sunday while on vacation with his family in Mexico, the Cowboys said. Allen was one of the most dominant linemen in the NFL during a 12-year career, spent mostly with Dallas. He was an All-Pro 6 consecutive years from 1996 to 2001 and was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2013.
I got to tell you, you could say all you want about Aikman, Smith, Irving, all the guys that were on that Dallas team. They were great because of that offensive line. Stepkowski, Nate Newton, that line was what made them special.
That was really sad. I couldn't believe 52 because I think about that team and I was a child, which I was. But these guys were only, they were children of Jace at the time. Really sad story to see that. 52 is just too young.
Way too young.
And Hall of Famer Alonzo Mourning recovering from prostate cancer. Mourning underwent surgery to remove his prostate after a stage 3 cancer diagnosis, he told ESPN's Woj. Additional testing revealed the cancer did not spread. Mourning is now advocating for men to be proactive with their health, something that is a great message because that is a cancer that if caught early can be treated.
Yes, the screening is just so vitally important. We talk about colon cancer, but also going to urologist to check it out, because if they catch it early, it's not a big deal. But if they catch it too late, it becomes a major problem.
Wasn't Zoe sick back in the day, Don? Yeah, he had a kidney transplant.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, in 2003.
Really? Oh wow, I'd forgotten about that. And let's not forget too, he had Jeff Van Gundy surgically removed as well from his leg.
Oh my.
So there's a lot of things
From his leg, you're saying? That's well done.
If Michael could win absent point God, he would try today.
Why is that?
Yesterday, the Yankees played the Giants, and they came back and won in dramatic fashion. Juan Soto being the one to hit the game, or the go-ahead home run, I should say.
A Ramalama ding-dong, if you will.
But what happened in that game also was that Giants starter Blake Snell exited with a groin injury. Now, Michael would never be excited about anybody getting injured, but what he did say was it would be in the best interest of these Boris clients to sign as quickly as possible, because it is important to get your spring training in. Blake Snell has not been pitching well. He entered Sunday with an 0-3 record and a 10.42 ERA. And now he left the game with a groin injury, tightness in his left groin. And he pushed off the mound in discomfort after a 97-mile-per-hour pitch. Guys, it just hasn't worked out really for that Boris 4. I think Jordan Montgomery's been okay, but even Snell, I think, 2 weeks ago, said he really would have valued having that spring training. So clients of Boris have to be careful that if they don't get into camp early,
you're more likely to get hurt.
But we talk about it with Soto. Please, these athletes have to remember, the agent works for you. So if you want to play, if you want to do what you think is right by you, don't listen to him. Do what you got to do. He's working for you. So if Juan Soto wants to stay in New York, and Boris advises him, take a higher. If you want to stay, then stay.
It's so hard, though, Don. We always have this conversation about the agent works for you. Mm-hmm. But when you have a high-powered agent, it just doesn't feel that way, I think.
Well, but you have seen, Alex Rodriguez parted ways with him. You just have to remember that. But I also say it to the point where let's give some blame, if you will, or reasoning to the player. Like, don't always fall on, Boris. Well, listen, Juan Soto hired Boris. So if he wants to stay, he can tell him. But if he doesn't, let's not blame Boris. I mean, ultimately, the player has to be the one. Snell could have said, listen, I don't want to hold out. I don't want to go someplace late. Pete Alonso, same thing. He's got Boris as an agent. So, hey, look at the landscape. Tell him I want the most money, but I also want to play. I want to be someplace in spring training. I don't want to get hurt. I don't want to miss time. You can control the narrative, Peter. And it's your life. You're the one that's going to have to go play there. You're the one that's going to have to make the decision ultimately. So
I know.
Have some backbone when dealing with these.
But when this person's so powerful and they're telling you for sure what money they can get you, I think it just gets really hard to stand up to.
Or maybe you put some blame on the player and say, well, wasn't Boris. He hired Boris. I guess he wanted the most money and he made his own bed by not being someplace.
Fair also.
We only got about a minute left here, guys. Now, it'd be remiss if we didn't talk about UFC 302 in Newark this weekend, where Aaron Rodgers made an appearance.
That's right, Fauci. I guess you weren't at UFC 302 with me because you're too busy getting grilled in Congress for everything you did to lie to us. But Donnie, I had a great time there, Donnie. I was there with some of my good friends, former president. Mm-hmm. That's not true. No. I didn't even see you.
Oh, wow,
walked right by you.
Look at that.
Now, were you happy to see the former president?
Love Donnie. He's not Bobby. He's not Bobby.
Which Donnie do you like better?
I like this Donnie.
This Donnie.
The other one is not Bobby. So arrogant Aaron, I got no interest in you. You know why? You haven't won in a long time. It's been a long time since you won the big one. Always losing the big game. But I love you, Donnie.
I really look forward to Michael having to see how this all works out. That'll do it for ENN, brought to you by Security Dodge. Hey, guys, it's the season. Shop 24/7 at securitydodge.com.
Anthony, fantastic job.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for rocking with us for the last week and a half. Castro will be back with us tomorrow at 3 p.m. Our buddy Dan Grassa is up next. Have a wonderful night.